They can sleep anywhere they want.
Priority Mayday breaker. Scramble the Joes.
Roger, Flint. I smell a rat.
Yeah? Well, I smell a snake. This little disappearing act reeks of cobra.
Flint was a very no-nonsense guy with great big guns and biceps and a black beret and camouflage T-shirt who had very little humor. There were a couple of humorous scenes involving suntan lotion and my girlfriend in the series, Lady J, a very straight-ahead guy, tough, no-nonsense leader. And when I got the job, I thought, boy, this is really casting against type.
Now, if I was in charge...
But you aren't Beachhead. First comes Hawk, then Duke, then me, and finally you.
There's an interesting, if you watch Flint's career closely, you'll notice episodes that I story-edited. Flint, was field marshal and, was ordering Duke around, and he, episodes I didn't, especially when, Vindictive, Doug Booth would get in there or something. Flint would be like peeling potatoes and all. His very interesting career to watch.
Snake Eyes is, the mystery commando. He's the guy that anybody could fantasize about being because you don't know what he looks like. Doesn't say anything. He just does his job, and he's the best at what he does.
Citizens of the world, on behalf of the great Cobra Empire, I address you now.
Cobra Commander, who's the leader of the Cobra team, always has these diabolical plans of taking over the world or blackening the world out by these satellites and other things and transport devices and all kinds of crazy stuff.
You have no hope of resisting our might. We control a new power. The raw strength of nature itself, against which there is no defense. Watch as I unleash the sea and sky to do my bidding!
Cobra Commander was full of new ideas for the craziest, zaniest things that could possibly do to capture the Joes, to destroy the world except for his world, to put his face everywhere.
Well, Cobra Commander is sort of he's a damaged guy who, at the core of what he is he's very insecure, so he needs for everything to be under control.
I told you there were holes in this plan to begin with!
Foiled by a cattle stampede! A cattle stampede! I can't believe it! But I'll be back!
Destro's a little different.
You display considerable cleverness, more than I have come to expect. But Destro does not celebrate until his wars are won.
His main conflict is that he sees himself as an honorable person. That's the whole core of his conflict.
The time has come to get to the bottom of this Viper business. This little game will now come to an end.
And then there were the female characters who were really interesting. The Baroness.
We've got G.I. Joe trapped like rats. Attack!
Obviously, I love the Baroness. Come on, every single woman who touches the G.I. Joe brand in some way just loves the Baroness. Men love the Baroness, women love the Baroness. Come on, what's not to love about the Baroness?
As a character developing her, she was probably the most complex, figuring out who she was. And also controversial because the lead villain being a woman was something that had not been done often before.
Just like boys love to play G.I. Joe because sometimes it's fun to play good and sometimes it's fun to play bad. With girls, you could play good or you could play bad. Scarlet is this wonderful female character who is all about doing good. And the Baroness is this charming, sexy, evil female character. And, for girls, sometimes it's fun to be bad, too.
All's fair in love and war!
And then there was some romance, Scarlet was, became Duke's girlfriend.
Well, may as well get back to base, huh?
May as well. Or you could take me to dinner and a movie, now that everything's working again.
Now you're cooking with gas.
But she's also the very competent big sister who is on an equal footing with the rest of the guys, and people respect her for that.
You can run, Cobra, but you can't hide.
Probably one of my favorite characters is Lady J. Not only is she a very strong female character in the G.I. Joe lore, but she's college educated, she knows who she is, she has romantic interests, and she doesn't let those romantic interests compromise the mission at hand.
Well, fella, this is where I get off.
Was it something I said?
The thing that I find most compelling about these stories is the relationships that these characters have with each other.
Ripcord. Never thought your ugly puss could look so good.
Kind of romantic out here, ain't it? Give me a break.
With pleasure.
Is everyone okay?
We all made it, Duke.
And it's back to square one for Cobra.
These are the characters that have engaged G.I. Joe fans starting in the early 1980s and continue to engage fans today.
There were hijinks in the recording studio, such as one actor would be emoting and serious and bent over and gesticulating, and someone would come up behind him and sort of push the back of his knees, and of course he'd fall over.
Yeah, everybody lightens up, and there's a lot of fun in the studio.
Wally Burr, our magnificent director, in order to satisfy the darker side of himself, in a moment of great seriousness, would say, do it, all right, do it, it's got to be faster. It's got to be faster, I told you that. Listen, this is a serious, you're really in danger. This is a dangerous scene. You got to sound threatened. All right, now do it like a mosquito with a hat on. Okay, now do it like Doris Day would do it.
Is this tough enough?